My first guest was nominated for an Oscar for his role as Lieutenant Dan in the 1994 blockbuster Forrest Gump. He's an Emmy winner, a family man, musician, philanthropist, working on behalf of our nation's fighting men and women. He and his foundation provide assistance to our veterans and first responders in need, and they're celebrating their 10th anniversary this year. He joins us tonight to celebrate our nation's birth and 10 years of the Gary Sinise Foundation. Please welcome the man himself, Gary Sinise. Thanks for being here, Gary.
Thank you, Raymond. Good to be with you.
Great to see you. Look, first of all, congratulations on 10 years of the foundation and its incredible work. How do you process this in retrospect, all the lives that have been touched through the foundation's initiatives?
Oh gosh, it's extraordinary. We couldn't do it without the generosity and passionate heart for our defenders. Without the American people, the American people support the Gary Sinise Foundation. Years ago, when we launched, 10 years ago exactly, there was one donor. And we were just opening up the website and just going public with the foundation and just starting to take in donations. It started out slowly, but as the years have rolled on here, we've just got thousands and thousands of generous people that care about our defenders, and without them, we couldn't do the extraordinary things that we're doing right now. And the foundation has just grown and grown over these last 10 years, so much so that our programs have just expanded. We built multiple homes for our wounded, and we have several initiatives within those 4 pillar programs that we have that operate all over the country, trying to serve and honor the needs of the men and women who serve our country. We're very grateful to them. I'm a grateful American for them, and just want to show my support by offering this means to the American people to support them through the Gary Sinise Foundation.
Gary, I want to talk about some of the best-known work of your foundation. Your organization has given so much to our nation's wounded warriors, particularly through the RISE program, Restoring Independence, Supporting Empowerment. Now, that has continued to change lives for injured vets and their families. As you mentioned, you all have now donated over 70 specially equipped smart houses for these wounded heroes and retrofitted another 60 existing homes. In May of this year, you donated your 71st home to a badly injured Navy bomb technician, Kenton Stacy, in Poway, California. Tell me about Kenton and this latest project and what it means to you personally, because I know you often go and open up the home and bring these warriors home.
Well, it's a beautiful thing. I started, it's over 10 years now since I raised money to help build the first home, which started the ball rolling here in terms of these specially adapted smart technology houses. I could see that in the initial stages, the benefits to having a home for somebody who's very, very severely wounded and specially designed for them to meet the challenges, their challenges physically, and what it can do for the families as well, to restore independence not only to the warrior but to the families. And Kenton, he was an EOD technician, joined the Navy, and unfortunately an IED went off and it paralyzed him from the neck down. He's a quadriplegic. He's blind in his left eye. He's got a family. Obviously, special needs. His wife is his caregiver by his side constantly. And so we wanted to provide this smart technology for them to help them with their independence. And it's helped not only Kenton to have a more independent life, but the family as well.
Yeah. The foundation does such incredible work. And again, when you look at these men and women, I mean, I know a family in Louisiana that you all gifted a home to, and the life-changing aspects of that I think we don't fully appreciate, because we send these men and women off to war, they come home, and then in many cases Americans forget about them and the sacrifice that they made in the field and they continue to make in the homeland. You all don't, and I love that you're engaged in all aspects of their lives. I was privileged to be with you all during the Snowball Express, which is an annual program you run, and it focuses on children of Gold Star families who've lost loved ones. You partner with American Airlines, and you give these children and their families a trip away, a little needed fun and healing for a long week or weekend. We went to Disney World a couple of years ago. Gary, give people a sense of what these trips mean to those families, and how consoling, what a relief it is to them who have lost so much.
Oh, we've had extraordinary events over the years with our Snowball Express program. This was something that was started back in 2006, and the guys that started it approached me after that first event, and they knew I was supporting the military and going out for the USO and raising money and whatnot. Right. Came to me and they showed me a video of the first event that was held at Disneyland, and I fell in love with the cause, the issue, which was to bring hope and healing to the families, and especially the children of our fallen heroes, and take them to the happiest place on earth right before Christmas time. You know, the holidays can be very, very difficult for a child who's lost a parent. And so bringing them all together, where each child from various places around the country can meet other children that are going through the same thing, it became so uplifting and rewarding for the families to see the mothers, surviving spouses, seeing the children just being lifted up by meeting other children. And it was certainly uplifting to all of us who are volunteering our time to try to help these children. And eventually, after years and years of doing it and bringing my band to play for the kids every year and that kind of thing, we folded Snowball Express into the Gary Sinise Foundation, because we wanted to move the event. It had started at Disneyland, then it moved to Dallas, which is where American Airlines is based, and we did it there for many years. And then we wanted to move it to Orlando and do it at Disney World. We needed to raise some extra money, and we thought a way to do that would be to fold it in as a program of the Gary Sinise Foundation. And that was when you came down and saw what we were doing. And you know, this is something that I've done many, many years. It's uplifting, as I said, for the children and families to get together with each other in a place. You know, it's all about happiness and healing.
And so many of them, Gary, told me, both the parents as well as the children, they were meeting people who've gone through what they went through, and they forged bonds that are as strong as a family, really, and they look forward to seeing each other not only each year at the Snowball Express, but outside of it. They meet personally and outside of your foundation. So those friendships, those connections, I think, are so important, as you said, not only for their healing, but for their sustenance and understanding of what the other is going through. Now, the mental health of our veterans, I know, is always an important consideration for you. Suicide has become a national epidemic among our armed forces community. According to 2019 statistics from the VA, veterans are nearly twice as likely to commit suicide than non-vets. It's heartbreaking, and you recently announced a major new initiative to support the mental wellness of our country's heroes. Tell us about the Avalon Network. What is it?
Well, the Avalon Network is a group of partners that have come together to expand services, mental wellness services for our veterans. This is a very serious problem, and it's sometimes nearly impossible to recognize the signs. I mean, you've all heard, the family members or the friends of somebody who's taken their own life say, I just never knew. He never let on, or she never said anything. And so it's sometimes very, very difficult to recognize. But by providing this network of services through the Marcus Institute for Brain Health and Boulder Crest Retreats, this is a clinic and a retreat environment that's specifically designed to meet those mental wellness challenges through something that we call post-traumatic growth, where we believe that we can. It's a science, and we believe that we can really turn a post-traumatic event into personal growth with the right tools in the right environment, and that's why we're providing a series of clinics around the country and retreats modeled after both the Marcus Institute for Brain Health in Denver and Boulder Crest Retreats, which was started back in 2000. And there's retreats now in Bluemont, Virginia, and right outside of Tucson. And now we're expanding those services to incorporate the programs that are at these places in other retreat environments. And we're funding that through the Avalon Network, the Gary Sinise Foundation Avalon Network, supported by great partners like Bernie Marcus and Arthur Blank, both co-founders of Home Depot, who have really extended themselves and their philanthropy toward helping our veterans through this network.
So important. It's a very important work. Gary, I want to talk about you personally for a second. You kind of got into this work via the Lieutenant Dan Band, correct? I mean, you've been performing for troops for what, 18 years now?
Yeah, it's been a long time. I mean, there were several factors that led to my getting so involved. I have veterans in my own family, and then I got my wife has two brothers who served in Vietnam and a sister whose husband served in Vietnam. Lots of veterans in my family, and it was really the Vietnam veterans who came home from war to a nation that was divided, a nation that turned its back on the returning Vietnam veteran, and them having to basically hide that they served at all because the nation was so torn apart over that war. The Vietnam veterans suffered for it. And then when we deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan, I just didn't want to see that happen to our returning warriors coming home from Afghanistan and Iraq. So I started going out for the USO and started taking my band and started going to the hospitals and started supporting various nonprofits. And then I started my own nonprofit, the Gary Sinise Foundation, 10 years ago.
Yeah. What role did your faith play in all of this, Gary, and what role does it play? I mean, this is really a corporal work of mercy that you're doing every day through the foundation.
You were so kind to have me on your show when my book came out a couple of years ago, Grateful American, A Journey from Self to Service. And there is a chapter in that book called Turning Point. And it really, the first part of the book is all kind of a setup in a sense to what would happen to me after September 11th, 2001, when I just felt called to service and called to support the men and women who were deploying in response to that horrible event. And so I remember I told this story before, Raymond, to you, standing in our small Catholic church and listening to the homily on the National Day of Prayer, the Friday after the Tuesday of the attack of September 11th. And all the churches and houses of worship around the country were just filled that day. And I was standing room only. I was standing up against the side of the wall, and I felt called to do something. My heart was broken, like so many of us, from those images of the towers coming down and the Pentagon and Shanksville and the loss of life. And then our troops started winding up. A month later, they deployed to Afghanistan. They started getting hurt, and I just felt called to do something. I really feel like God was saying, you know, you've had a blessed life, you've been successful in your career, you've got means, you've got a public platform, you have finances. Do some good with it, and therefore, I just started going out there, and it was really healing to be able to serve. Service is a great healer,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. What have those vets, Gary, in our final moments, what have they taught you about freedom? And has it enriched and deepened your Independence Day each year?
Well, you know, freedom is not something that everyone on this planet enjoys, and when you travel around the world and you go to places, war zones, you know, places that have been under the thumb of a dictator, and there are places around the world that still do not enjoy freedom. So when you go to places like that, and you see other societies that really don't understand what freedom is, you value your freedom that much more, and you value those who provide it all the more. And it has to be fought for and protected. That's just the way the world works. Somebody's got to defend freedom. Somebody has to provide security for you. Somebody has to race in the burning building and try to rescue somebody. Somebody has to show up when there are difficult things, difficult dangers. And I'm thankful to the men and women who do show up, and I want to do everything I can to back them up.
Well, thank you for your important work, and happy July 4th. We'll check in with you soon, Gary, and I know certainly my prayers and that of the audience are with you, but more than that, I hope you will support and help advance the work of the Gary Sinise Foundation. Go to GarySiniseFoundation.org. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, Raymond.